Østrup Møller, ambassador of Denmark to China. And he was ambassador to China, but also to Mongolia. And I know he has served in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for a long time and was ambassador to Poland and Undersecretary of the Resources Operation for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Of course, he has also been posted before very internationally in Berlin and also Cairo and of course NATO. Many international posts. So without further ado, we have Thomas, Ambassador Thomas, to share your Denmark experience.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much to CCG for convening this roundtable discussion. I think it's very interesting. I think there's a lot to learn mutually. So I hope we have a good discussion afterwards as well. But the first thing that came into my mind when I heard about today's topic was the concept of trust. And of course, trust is not inherently a Nordic idea, or it's not indeed a foreign concept in China. But nor is trust with a single meaning. We can actually talk about different types of trust. One type is what we could call individual trust. That is a trust in someone you already know. And maybe the evolutionary trait is most likely dates back to sort of the primitive hunter-gatherer societies. If you were injured during a mammoth hunt, you could trust your small clan to take care of you. And that makes actually quite a lot of sense because we all have family members that we trust dearly. So those who are very close to you, you trust. Another type of trust is what I would call institutional trust. That is your confidence in public bodies as courts, police, and administration. I will get back to that in a bit. But let me start by telling you about our take on trust in the Nordic countries. There may be variations, but I try to portray it as a Nordic feature. We trust each other almost by default. And this is a third kind. This is the societal trust. This is trust in strangers you have never met before. And I believe that this is quite fundamental to the Nordic model, or you could say the Nordic way of life. So let me give you an example. Many Danes, they will remember a story from 1997 when a Danish woman left her 14 months old daughter asleep in a baby carriage outside a coffee shop in New York. The mother was sitting inside and could see the baby through the window. So everything to her was in perfect. But soon, concerned citizen called the police, who took the baby into custody and arrested the woman. Luckily, she got off with a warning, and mother and child were soon reunited. Yet, if you have ever been to Denmark, you have without doubt noticed that many baby carriages outside sort of the local coffee shops. In Denmark, we routinely leave sleeping babies outside without any direct supervision other than a sound recorder so we can hear when they wake up. So this is a very concrete example of society. We simply trust others, people we have never met, enough to leave our children sleeping alone. And this leads me to institutional trust, because we also have great trust in our government, legal system, police, administration. But again, don't get me wrong. One of our favorite pastimes is complaining about politicians or the bureaucracy. But in the end, we generally trust them to do the right things. And we trust that our public institutions and authorities act in a fair and impartial manner. Both societal trust and institutional trust is crucial to our welfare model. Denmark and the other Nordic countries are strong welfare states. The model relies on redistribution of tax revenues, as my Norwegian colleague touched upon, between strangers and not among people with mutual individual trust relations. Such a system doesn't work if you don't trust institutions to divide the cake fairly. And if it doesn't work, if you don't trust your neighbor enough to expect her to do her share, meaning pay taxes. In other words, this model means that everyone is expected to contribute, to have a sense of duty. But it also means that everyone is sure to receive care and help if anything happens to you. If you get sick or when you get old, you don't have to worry about sick bills or whether your kids live close enough. You can trust the system to take care of them. An added benefit of trust is that, from an economic point of view, is that it actually lowers transaction costs in the economy. With trust, it's easier to get things done. You don't need to provide excessive legal hedging to foster joint action or to promote exchanges between economic agents. And some would argue that it is a significant part of the explanation of why Nordic welfare states are also fairly wealthy states. But why do we have this high level of trust in the Nordic countries? It is not because we are inherently different from anyone else. I believe one reason is our political system. Through transparency, oversight, and separation of powers, people trust that policy outcomes and the public administration is run in a fair way. Laws and rules are clearly defined and fairly and impartially implemented, no matter who you are or how much money you have in your bank account. Another reason is the process by which we make laws. For instance, we have a very strong consultation mechanism for hearing public demands. This leads to a sense that rules are to promote and protect the interests of every individual. We have a sense that following the rules is both in your own interest as well as in the overall interest of society and the nation. This doesn't mean that we don't, from time to time, experience irregularities among public authorities or politicians. But when cases like this happen, we deal with them through due process in a transparent manner. And the almost certain debate about the issue will contribute to a sense that such problems are not allowed to take root. So, from the outside, our political system or debates in the public sphere about politics may seem disorderly or even chaotic. And maybe you get the sense that our society is brimming with discontent, antagonism. But to us, debate, sometimes fierce debate, is seen as a strength and a sign of a well-functioning, healthy system. As such, debate, diverse opinions don't undermine the system. Rather, it actually contributes to trust in the system and between all of us. Thank you.